Every October 11th is National Coming Out Day, a day that exists to encourage closeted queer people to step out of the closet and embrace themselves to their friends, family, and community. 6 years ago, I took the plunge.
I always kind of knew I was gay. I was attracted to boys. I remember what was on my Google search history, and I refused to accept that. I didn't want to believe that I was gay. I wanted to believe that this was a phase, that I would get it over with, that it would get out of my system before I went to college. And when I went to college, I got a girlfriend, I was a Republican, I thought it was all done. And then I fell in love with a guy, and it all changed from there.
We started dating, but we still had to keep it a secret because I wasn't ready to come out yet. But then as time went on and we ended up moving in together, I realized it really wasn't fair to him to keep this a secret still. I had decided by January 1st of 2012 that I was going to come out, and I was going to do it on Facebook. I was going to post a status and let everyone know at once, put this all behind me, and say, this is who I am, accept me now or delete me. But then I had to tell my friends and family first. And that meant going back to my hometown and telling my parents. My dad and I were going grocery shopping, and I realized this is when I need to do it. This is when I'm going to tell him. And I was really nervous. I had a huge, gulp in my throat. And while we were driving, I said, this is the perfect moment. Because my eyes will be on the road, so in case he's disappointed, I won't have to see it on his face. I told him while we're going down this long interstate, and I said, I'm seeing someone. And he said, oh, that's great. And then I said, and it's a guy. And he said, that's great. And it was so reassuring, and he reminded me that he loved me and supported me. And I cried. I cried a lot. Then I had to figure out how I was going to tell my mom, and that's when it gets a little bit more tricky. And on the 31st, I packed all my stuff just in case she wasn't going to take it well. Put all my suitcases, all my belongings in the back of my car. In the event, it all went horribly wrong and I had to drive back up north to college. So at 4 p.m., I walked down the stairs, sat behind her in the computer room, and was going to do the same thing I did with my dad. I told her I was seeing someone. She was halfway listening and said, okay. And then I told her, and this person happens to be a guy. And she didn't take it quite well. This is some kind of joke? Do you think this is funny? She sobbed, she cried, it was a complete meltdown. And I didn't know what to do. I thought she might even hurt herself, so I called my dad and I said, she's not taking it well, please come. And he rushed home from work and he tried to talk to us and tried to calm us down. But at that point she wasn't having it. She was in her bedroom, the door was locked, and she was yelling. She was saying things like, I'd rather you be on drugs. She asked me how old he was, suggesting that maybe he was some sort of pedophile. She was peddling outdated and inappropriate things about gay people, truly offensive things even, and I wanted to leave in that moment. I didn't want to stay, but my dad wanted me to. He wanted me and us to talk the next morning to get things to be okay. And I told him I'm not negotiating. This is who I am, and I hope you can accept it. I left a note on the table, and it said, when you're ready, part of my life, give me a call. Love, Kevin. January 1st, I wake up in my boyfriend's apartment, and I'm ready to post online that I am a gay man and that we're in a happy relationship. And it went well. Everyone was accepting, everyone was supportive. I don't think a single person even deleted me. It was a pretty great way to end the less than perfect night before. And so everyone other than my mom was happy for me. And that was great. But of course, there's problems with that as well. I had trouble sleeping for quite some time. I would have dreams that she was there with me, that we were having dinner, or that she met him, and then realize that that was all just a fantasy. Even to visit my dad, I would have to stay in hotel rooms, spend hundreds of dollars just to visit him late at night at an all-night diner so she wouldn't be any the wiser. It was hard, but I don't regret any of it. This December, it'll be 6 years since I came out to my parents, And in those 6 years, my mom and I still haven't spoken. I don't even know where she actually is right now, since my parents divorced a few years afterwards, largely related to my coming out experience. My dad didn't want to be with someone who refused to accept their own child, their own flesh and blood, and throughout the proceedings, she didn't want any of my stuff, my childhood trophies, my pictures, any memories of me. She chose to left at the old home, and she's moved somewhere since then. I don't know if she wants to be part of her life or she'll reach out eventually. I hope she does, though. But it's not all sad. My dad's been the biggest supporter and advocate of me, and I'm really lucky to have him in my life. My dad, a man who's from the Rust Belt, works a blue-collar job, is a veteran of the U.S. Navy, someone who hunts and fishes, isn't the type of person people would imagine would be enthusiastic supportive of their gay child. But he is. At a wedding recently, he introduced my boyfriend as my boyfriend, not as my roommate or my special friend. He introduced him as someone that loves me, and he calls him every few days just to check up on him as well. Throughout all the trauma and the frustrations, the tears, I'm really lucky to have him in my life. My dad and I are as different as it gets, but we both share the same thing in common, that we believe that people should be themselves and that they should be able to tell the world who they are and who they love without any consequence. To my mom, if you are listening, I hope you know that that letter still stands, and that you call me at any time, and of course I'd love you back in my life as long as you love me back.